Vroom vroom.
Is this thing on?
Start your engines
Hold the door.
for the watch.
Hey, what's goody?
Welcome back, chat.
Gang, gang.
All right,
So we got another one. We speeding.
we are
We're
speeding.
speeding. So that should already give it away.
Yes.
So today we are talking about. Oh, by the way, this is Flick Filter. I'm Big Diesel.
And I'm your coach.
Just in case you clicked on the wrong video.
No, this is the right video.
Well, the wrong right video.
Right.
Right. Anyways, today we're talking about F1,
F1, the movie,
starring Brad Pitt
and Damson Idris.
and who? Javier Bardem,
Yep. And some other
And-
people.
some other people. Who's directing it?
Joseph Kosinski. He directed.
Jonathan Krasinski's brother?
Oh no, sorry, not Krasinski. Kosinski.
Krasinski.
Yes. Joseph Kosinski. Not I know you're referring to. But yes, he directed Top Gun Maverick. You know, that was a really big movie a few years back. Low-key saved cinema. What else? He did Oblivion, another Tom Cruise movie, and Only the Brave, which I did not see, but I know that was a war movie from some years back. So yeah, he's been working for a minute.
Gotcha. So what is this one about?
This one is about
Racing.
racing,
Mario Kart.
the need for speed.
Forza.
Yeah,
Fast and the Furious.
all that.
I can't think of it. Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, Midnight. What's the one? Underground something?
Project Gotham.
Speed Racer. Anyway,
I ran out of stuff.
yeah, we'll think of some stuff. But anyways, yes, this is a racing movie. So set in the world.
I thought this was a biopic,
of
but
Formula One. No, it is not a biopic.
It's not a biopic.
It is an original story. Yes, an original story. Though it does feature some real life racers. Lewis Hamilton, probably the most famous F1 driver.
Look at you knowing your racing stuff.
That's all I know. I cannot name any other F1 driver. So that goes to show you something. But yes, it features Lewis Hamilton. He's kind of there in the background a little bit. Like he is racing, but the movie is more heavily featuring Brad Pitt's character as well as Sonny Hayes and JP is what he affectionately calls
Justin Pierce. Yes.
Yes. So, yeah, Sonny Hayes. He's like the not elderly, but JP calls him that. But he's a much older racer. I think he's like in his 50s.
So you call him 50s old?
That's what he. Well, he's an older racer. I'm not saying he's old, but he's.
You said
older.
elderly.
It's a reference to the movie.
It wasn't at first, though.
See, you can't give me nothing, man. You can't give me nothing.
Man.
And see, you can't give nothing. You can't give nothing. He is an older racer who is coming from the world of.
Fast and Furious.
Yes, he used to race with Dom Toretto and Brian O'Connor before. Anyway,
I love getting you on topic.
he was a racer all these years ago in the world of he came from NASCAR most recently, but he's raced in a bunch of different leagues over the years. It kind of just floated from one thing to the next. You find out he has a tragic backstory. And like all in like so many movies, you got
Like an anime character.
sure, yeah, anime character or any type of character, they have this tragic backstory, and then
Origin story.
this origin story, and then they show flashbacks or various videos of when they were younger, and then people pull out newspaper, and then they find out like you were this guy and you did this, and yeah, so
So anywho,
anywho,
so he basically gets called on by Javier Bardem's character.
Yep.
Basically, they were um, race mates,
yes, they were rivals in their younger year.
um, and basically Javier been yeah, his character is
Ruben.
basically Ruben is basically he's got the called the Apex,
Yes,
and
that's their team.
their team, and they're really bad.
Yep, they're the worst in the league.
Yeah. So if he's bringing Sonny in to basically save the team, or they kind of get bought out.
Yeah, they'll be sold away, and he'll Ruben will no longer be, managing slash owning the
So
team.
in comes Justin Pierce,
Joshua.
Joshua Pierce. Okay, I don't know why it said Justin,
Yeah,
but so basically he comes in. He's basically younger 20 something, and basically is saying, if if they lose, he could be out of a job as well.
yes, because
Or-
they basically clean house and start fresh.
Start fresh.
And
Yeah.
he's young, like he's still just starting his career out, and he doesn't want to, jeopardize his whole career.
Yeah.
Especially with having all this future ahead of him.
He's got mom and a
Cousin.
yeah, who's his manager.
Yeah.
And basically you got the movie. You also got the Irish girl.
So Carrie Condon plays Kate McKenna, and she is like the lead engineer
Yeah.
behind like designing and building the cars, and she's really good at what she does. And of course they use her as this kind of like foil in a sense of like, well, um, you can tell there's like this immediate attraction that Sonny Hayes has with her, and then she hears about his backstory and having multiple.
We don't have to go in through all the movie.
Oh yeah. But of course they set her up to be the love interest.
Which I felt was forced. It didn't feel like I feel like sometimes they put a love interest in there just to have a love interest when this could have just been about racing. This rivalry that Joshua and Sonny have, I think that was a little better without the, But, anyways, let's get into what we liked about the film.
Okay.
So first off, I love the chemistry. Javier and Sonny had Brad Pitt. I feel like Brad Pitt just has that charisma. He can work with just about anybody. Even in Bullet Train, he was good with Quicksilver and
Aaron Taylor Johnson
and
Brian Tyree Henry.
that one. Yeah. I'm doing bad with names. Please forgive me.
It's all good.
But but he was good with Javier. He was also good with excuse me, Kate. He was good with Kate, even though again, like I don't think it needed the love interest. but they still had chemistry. Excuse me. And then of course with Joshua, he was good.
Yeah.
Damson Idris. I feel like he just all the chemistry was great. I felt like the story was very compelling, even though it was kind of predictable in my opinion. Um,
Hmm.
you kind of saw what was going to happen because it followed the same kind of formula.
Yeah.
See, I said formula.
Hmm.
But yeah, kind of stretched out. Trying to see the racing was fun when it was racing.
Yeah, yeah,
It
for
was
sure.
like you were definitely on the edge of your seat. Um, yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I will say I did enjoy the performances, the chemistry as well. I thought Brad Pitt and Damson they had this like good rivalry. This you got the older uh, mentor in a sense, even though he would try to extend the olive branch at times, and you know. Damson's character would kind of get frustrated.
Well,
They both would get
they
frustrated
both
with each
were
other.
kind of because they had that kind of prideful arrogance.
Yeah.
With them.
So it's and they're very
They kept on like trying to one up each
one
other.
up each other, and honestly, they were more similar than they were different, and they realized that later on. Like I feel like if I feel like even though their backgrounds are a lot different, but I think just as far as like being competitors and being at the top of their sport. I mean, ultimately is a sport, so being at the top of you know even though that they're lower is as far as who they are in the league, like they're still some of the best athletes in the world, and I like that they showed that.
And I like the way you use athletes
Yeah.
because a lot of the times we don't think about it because they're just driving.
Mm-hmm.
But you see Brad Pitt's character, he's working out. Even
Yes.
Damson Idris' character, they're working out. So just because they were behind the wheel, just because they're just racing cars, does not mean like race car drivers, they still got to be fit.
Yes, they got to be very fit. Um, they're some of the best athletes in the world in terms of like stamina, endurance, focus. Because it's like you
Definitely focus.
yeah, if you zone off for a second, half second, like that can change the entire race. And they're literally trying to, save a tenth of a second per lap, and that adds up uh, over time, especially during the hours that they're doing each race. So I like the performances. Um, Brad Pitt did well, Damson did well, everybody I think did pretty well. I feel like it was because I've seen Brad Pitt in so many different things. I feel like it was similar to some of his other performances, not necessarily in a bad way, but I wouldn't say it was like, oh yeah, this is like the best Brad Pitt I've ever seen because I feel like it very is much in line with
I
stuff that
feel
he's
like
done.
he's not saying that he's phoning it in,
Yeah,
but I feel like he's just, he doesn't really have to try to,
yeah,
you know.
especially for this type of role, it's kind of like it's not really out of his element.
No,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
Hmm. But
So-
again, but I sorry, I did want to mention as well the action I thought was really impressive. Just how like detailed it was, and how it was like, wow, they're really out here racing. I mean, I know they got stunt doubles and whatnot, but they use real drivers. But it was like, wow, this is really impressive.
So explain, because you were talking about how like something about F1.
Mhm.
I can't remember what it was. There was something
Are you talking about the show, or
like there's something about F1 that you didn't know that like an interesting fact.
oh,
I
the
can't
interesting?
remember.
Well, something that was mentioned a few times is that with F1, a lot of times your biggest competition or your biggest rival
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
is the other driver on your team because are two drivers. There are two drivers per team, and um, every team builds their own cars on their own. Like you're not given a car; they literally build the cars from scratch, and you and the other person on your team are driving the exact same car. So you and that other person are the only ones driving that car. So it really shows like who the better driver is because you've got the exact same materials versus other teams are driving something that they also built that's going to be different. So it's interesting looking at it from that perspective as like of course you want to win as a team but you also want to be the better driver.
It was definitely a lot of strategy because he had to do certain things to where, like, kind of how, like, in spades, you can't renege or one up your teammate.
That's good, yes.
You know, it's more like kind of if they throw out something, which there was cards dealt within.
Yeah.
Within it, but if your partner throws out a high card, sometimes you just gotta let them, even though you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like I like the spades comparison. I wasn't thinking about that because you are working together in a
I'm a
partnership.
big spades guy.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. You are working as a partnership and you are going against another team. I feel like that would have been interesting if they had played spades instead of Texas Hold'em because it would have forced them to actually work as a team.
That would have been. No, actually no. I think Texas Hold'em worked better in what they were trying to do. As a bond, it was a bonding kind of thing.
Because it forced one of the
and they only had 3 people.
You only had 3. True.
So you need 4. That's true. You need 4.
I get that.
And then she was kind of like controlling the strings.
She was pulling the strings. Well, I think it was.
And I'm not going to try to give. Let's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's very interesting that's probably one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Aside from the racing scenes, of course.
Right.
But I feel like, that scene was just very good because it showed the chemistry between those 3.
Mm-hmm.
Not just Brad Pitt and Kate, but also Kate with Damson.
Yeah.
And Damson with Brad.
Right.
I feel like that was like the big trinity in this movie.
Yeah.
There's also other scenes in here where they're in a room type thing.
Yeah.
To where they're practicing their driving and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I thought those scenes were pretty cool.
Right.
It was like they were playing video games.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool things about this film.
Agreed. Yes, there definitely was a lot to like. Like, even I would say the disagreements. Like, a lot of times I could see both sides in terms of like the conflict and why like JP would be upset or even why Brad Sonny Hayes would be upset. And not to say either of them were right or wrong because they both were wrong a lot of the time and both let their egos get the best of them. But I do like the fact that you did see we saw the struggle and it wasn't just like, all right, we fought one time and now we're best friends. It was that push and pull throughout the movie, and I did like the aspect of the cards as well. Like I think we talked about this earlier.
Oh yeah,
this kind of ritual. And he would always have his cards with him.
I think it was like because he has a gambling problem.
Yeah.
But so I think that was part of it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to give too much away,
Right.
but yeah, he definitely. And I'm mad like they never showed what card he had
Mhm.
in his pocket while he was driving.
Yeah.
It was all it just lets you just speculate. Maybe it was a different card,
Mhm.
and depending on the card, you know.
Yeah. I think it was like a superstitious thing. Like he didn't want to look at it.
Because there's one point in the movie, I'm not gonna give too much away, where he didn't have it, and then like it just kind of he freaks out.
Yeah.
So it was cool. So anything to not like?
Any negatives? Well, we kind of discussed this. It was, I think, in terms of structure, it does follow the typical, like, sports movie sort of structure, and it can be predictable at times where it's like, you got this underdog story and they're really bad, and then they slowly work their way up to being better, and then you know, I feel like that kind of can't. I guess that could be seen as a negative. It didn't bother me too much because it's like with sports and things, there's only so much you can do without you going too far left that it's not even enjoyable.
Right.
So this is one of those situations where I think when you follow certain conventions, it actually works out in your favor, especially when you have talented people behind the wheel. No pun intended. Um, so yeah, for me, I mean, I don't know if this is really a negative. I guess like you get so much racing, so you don't see too much. You do get a little bit of their lives outside of it, but again, I think just a little bit. Um, there were, I mean, there were things that I heard were cut out of the movie, and I wonder if that would have made it better in terms of like
It was already a long movie.
we discussed it. It was a long movie. There was a particular actress that was cut out of the movie rather. Like she literally showed up for like one quick frame. So I'm interested to see like how much of her uh, story was cut out, or if it was like just going to be one scene and then she didn't appear again. Because I believe she was supposed to be a love interest for Damson Idris. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Which is crazy. I thought it would go. There's two other girls in here that I thought they were gonna do the love interest for him, but
right.
It's funny that there was actually somebody else, but she got cut out.
So that's basically it. Like these are like just small things for me.
Yeah. I feel like there's not really big things. I think for me it was there's a little antagonist kind of in the background where it's very predictable who it is. There's kind of a mystery around it, but also he's very mustache twirling. Kind of where it's like too like I don't know. It was just I think he was hamming it up, you know. And then I think I talked to you about this because it's the same guy from Top Gun Maverick. They did the same thing with the cameras, which a lot of people are doing. Even Superman is doing with the little cameras, trying to use it because it did so well in that. But I think the problem with this one was, and it's a little bit of a nitpick, but when they're driving, the cameras are right there, I'm sure. So when you're driving, the hand will like be in front of their face because the camera is pointed at their face. So there's some points where the hand is in front of the face and it's like I'm not seeing Brad Pitt's face or whatever, you know. But they're wearing helmets anyways. But at the same point, it's just kind of annoying every time the hand was like in front of their face while they were driving. But that's about it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that until you mentioned it. So yeah, it didn't bother me really. but that's valid. It's
But
valid.
so all in all, we liked it. What would you rate it?
I would give it solid 4 out of 5.
4.5.
Hey, okay.
I think that was good.
Yeah.
Definitely getting it on Blu-ray once it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
I kind of like Ford versus Ferrari a little bit better.
Interesting. I think I saw most, if not all of it. Um, I think I like this a little better.
Yeah.
But I would need to go back
And
see
then I
it.
never
See it.
seen Gran Turismo, and I never seen Rush. So I think those are homeworks that we need to do.
Yeah.
But anyways, that is our thoughts on F1. Put in the comments your favorite racing show. I mean movie
Show.
movie or show. That's not Fast and the Furious.
Or Cool Runnings. That's a throwback.
Yeah, that is a throwback because I don't know what that is.
We'll tell you when you get older.
I'm older than you. But anywho, put it in the comments below. Let us know. Maybe we need to check some more racing stuff out. But yeah, a lot's coming up. I'm very excited for Fantastic Four and Superman. Those are the next ones coming up. So stay tuned for those. And we'll see you in the next one. All right.
All right, folks.
God bless.
Peace.